Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of Dragon's Tome. This is the podcast, I guess, vidcast. What do you call these things? YouTube show of Dragon Magazine. We're going through every episode, every issue, one episode at a time. We're up to 127. I got my tongue tied because this is a special episode for me. My name's Rob.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Trevor.
And we're here to talk about this magazine because this is the very first magazine I ever owned of Dragon Magazine. I beat the crap out of this. The cover by the end was falling to pieces because I read it so much. This cover has a very special meaning to me. It's The Last Three Survivors by Jim Holloway. It's a bunch of orcs getting with some humans circling them.
Humans.
Classic.
It looks like King Arthur from the first 2 episodes ago is doing better.
Well, it's I stared at this cover so often. I know every inch of this cover. So the colors.
I just want to know if this arrow is in this orc's arm or just in one of those little leather hanging things.
I think it hit one of the leather hanging things. Luckily.
What do they call those things? Bunting?
I don't know. Isn't that on cakes?
Yeah, I believe that's a bunt cake.
Yeah, that's a bundt cake. I think the little leather thing is like bunting.
Comment below if you know what the little leather thing hanging off that guy's shoulder is called.
Yeah, 100% do that.
Easy. This is a family show. Easy.
No, it's not. It's not a family show. Yeah. Anything else to say about this wonderful cover?
No, it's great.
I love the colors.
I think we're at the point of Dragon Magazine where we're far. The bad covers are going to be far and few between.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about this magazine because, like I said, I read it back to back to back to back, nonstop. So we'll get right into it. Jack, let's start with you.
Me?
Yay!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If everyone would follow me, please and thank you, to the PDF page 48.
48.
48.
In the heat of the fight.
Oh,
You had to scroll another page to find out the heat is of.
In the heat of.
Is on.
And yes, this is by Sean Holland.
Esquire?
If you're combat, yes, he was a squire. If you were wanting to spice up combat because it was getting samey, these are a number of ways that you can kind of add a simple. Most of them are very simple mechanics that you could just say ahead of time. You've been ambushed, so this
Been ambushed. I've been ambushed.
These people are fanatics of so and so they fight like this, or this is a champion, so he's doing this. And so if combat had gotten a little too stale, a little too everyone kind of knows exactly what they do or how it plays out, he throws a little wrench in the monkey works.
Monkey works.
Monkey
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just adds a little flavor to a game, which I like. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It's just like, hey,
Adds a little-
seemed
adds a
overpowered.
little spice.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else to say about this article?
No, it was short and sweet and very.
Just like you.
Oh,
Jack is neither short nor sweet. No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's tall and not sweet. He's tall and bitter. I think we both came up with tall and bitter at the same time, which I thought was funny.
I don't go to Adepticon with the two of you, and then now you've turned on me like a pack of wild eels.
Well,
I thought you were going to say hyenas.
you forgot the Pharaoh's going to beat me at Adepticon, so it's not going to be a
That
fun
is
time.
true. He's cleaned your ass a couple times, I'm sure.
Yeah. Patrick, please tell us where we're going.
24.
24. No
No
quota.
quota.
Very similar.
I will give you no quota. I ask for none.
Arn Ashley Parker.
Arn Ashley Parker.
It's like
The-
Arn Anderson, Ash from Evil Dead, and Sarah Jessica Parker, all in one person.
That is true.
Parker Posey.
Oh.
There's a
How
little
dare I?
article on new combat maneuvers for fighters only. No subclasses, no paladins, no
Well, it would
rangers.
actually make it for a fighter to be useful. Yeah, that's
Yeah, which I thought was cool. Just a fighter only, plain vanilla. I mean, they say you can let maybe bards or rangers that have to be fighters first before they can move in the
oh,
multi.
that was first edition thing, right? Where
Yeah, they said that was this is because we're still in first edition. So
yeah, I forgot they had to
he
be another class before they could be them.
Arn Ashley says you can, as a GM, you can make that decision if you want to allow them to have access to these. But it's they're just nice little combat maneuvers that you can add to your attacks. In order to use them, the player must make a level check. So you roll against your level, and if you roll less, then you can pull the maneuver off. But reading the article, it says the level check requires a 1d30, which I think has got to be a typo at this point because I don't think we had the crazy dice yet.
Oh, it is.
I think
it
I
says,
think a D100.
No, it says
might be,
if a 1d30, if it a d30, a 30-side die is not available, use 1d6 and 1d10 and produce numbers.
No.
So it is.
So
there is d30s at this point. Nope.
I thought it was a typo, and it said D20.
Nope.
To ask for a die that doesn't come in the percentiles that come with the game, nor most people have, was a bold move.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was
bold
a typo.
Move, Cotton. No, it's
because even then
funny.
D30. I don't even think that you can even get the D100 at that point. I think D100
we talked about D100s.
Yeah, we've seen them in the ads.
Mm-hmm. D30 is definitely around.
Mine.
Yeah,
D30 is definitely around.
Well, there is something in this article when we get to the ads that could probably cover this. But there's a bunch of different moves you can use, and they're nice. So, I mean, if you're looking to if you just want to be a fighter,
once again, a little bit of spice, a little bit of spice.
Paladins or cavaliers doing their seal bash and all these other things, you get to do a little maneuver to add to your character.
Cool. And honestly, in current iterations of D&D, everyone gets these types of things. These would be milk toast no one took.
Yeah,
compared to today, where everyone has
especially with
multiple
proficiencies.
Yeah, especially with Unearthed Arcana, everyone else gets a little boost and everything else too.
Second edition, everybody gets proficiencies also, so that's kind of the same thing.
So,
coolio. My first article, we're gonna go to page 18, and I have a little confession to make here. I'd like to apologize to everybody I've ever played role-playing games with, but this is Lords and Legends. It's all the Norse kind of guys. But in grade 9, everybody had ridiculously high-level characters that were legitimately made, I'm sure. But I did not, so I stole Roland from this magazine and claimed him as my own. So
what?
I'm admitting that now. And
let's take a look at Roland.
He's a 17th level paladin.
17th level, so you just started out at 17th, huh?
Please. The people we were playing with, they were all like 30 levels, so Jack knows. Jesus. Jack knows.
Were they legit, or were you put legit in quotes? Okay.
Obviously not. Nobody's that level.
I didn't see your air quotes.
Yes, I air quoted it.
I've never had a character that was even 17th level. No. I couldn't imagine. You had to roll in with a legendary character.
I had a monk that was maxed out. That was.
You remember the people we played with? They all had ridiculous characters.
Well, some of them were. Yeah. There's a couple names that come to mind. I'm like, yeah. If you told me that they came straight faced and said, yes, this is the character I started at level 1, they would not even. It wouldn't even. Their conscience wouldn't even ping.
Anyways, there was those kind of people I had to compete with, and I was just a young little kid. I was only 14. I'm sorry. Anyways, these are great. Anyways, these are great characters. Anyways, they're cool, and they have.
I consider this a confessional. You are absolved of all wrongdoing in the view of Dice Christ. You are absolved.
I feel like a weight has come off my shoulders. Frankly.
I don't hold you accountable. I feel like you're just doing what you needed to do.
I was an impressionable child.
To survive.
But these characters are cool. Like I like Siegfried. He is drenched in dragon blood, and where a leaf fell, he's got one part that he's not invulnerable on his shoulder. And they, I think he's the one who has the cursed sword. And there's like these are great characters. Roland's more of a classic. This is probably why I like Paladins, is because that's who I chose, and it's because I had this magazine, obviously. Because I think I got this magazine before I started playing D&D.
Oh, he's a knight for Charlemagne.
Yeah, these are all Charlemagne kind of guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably why I like Paladins. It's probably because of this character right here. So, but I don't know why I picked up Dragon Magazine before I played D&D. I don't know why, but I must have. I was a comic book. It was probably in the comic book store or in some game store. I was just like, that's the coolest cover ever, and I picked it up. I obviously liked D&D also because of those. Remember those little figurines that were like mass market, like little. They were pretty much like miniatures, but I think they were plastic, and they were in like regular stores, and I had quite a few of those too. So I was already into D&D without actually playing D&D as a child, but because. When I went to high school, it was in '89, so this is 2 years before then. So I obviously had this magazine for a while because I bought it off the rack. So it'd been 2 years of me stewing, reading this magazine. Eventually, I will get to play this game.
Waiting.
But anyways, yeah, cool characters, and that's I think Legends and Lore. There's a lot more of these coming up. I think it seems to be more of a regular.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a few in the past, but this is like a regular thing coming up. So
yeah, they do quite a bit.
Anyways, who are we on to? We're on to Jack.
Mr. Fike.
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if we could go to page 70, please.
70. The Bestiary.
It shocked me there because 70s, if anyone asks me to do another article, and I've already done two, 70s my go-to for the sake of comedy. That's my joke number. So for a second, I was like, that can't be. The Dragon's Bestiary, slimy, gross, and yucky. These are a couple of new monsters that are goopy-based creeps. The first one, Xandor's Fluid, is a slime-like creature that jumps onto you and covers your body and then solidifies. They say it turns into plastic, which is kind of a unsettling thought that it's this goo sprays at you and then dries onto you.
Well, it is 87. Plastic is starting to become rampant, like plastic liter bottles around this time, I think.
That's true. So if you got it in your nose or mouth, it would suffocate you, and you would.
There's a lot of jokes that I'm really holding back. You don't want Xander's fluid squirting at you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's solidified. You definitely don't want in your eyes.
No. Your hair and like that.
Gets on your glasses. It's hard to clean.
What it does is eventually it sucks liquid from your body. It drains you.
It certainly does suck.
Too. Yeah, you'd probably get pretty sleepy too after the Xander fluids, and then it just flakes off of you eventually. It just turns into like, it dries and flakes off of you.
Let's get out of this quagmire.
And then okay. Then the next one is the Quagmire, which if you could insert in the booth, can you insert a Quagmire, a gif of him giggity. Thank you. I'm sure when we watch this,
I'm sure it'll be there.
And this is kind of like a living quicksand like you would see in the old movies, not the reality of quicksand, in the living form that kind of just eats everything organic.
As Quagmire should.
As Quagmire should.
Nice. Patrick, what do we got?
Yes. Page 28.
Bazaar of the Bazaar.
Bazaar the Bazaar again.
Bows. Once again.
Bow is an archer's best friend, and this is a list of new magical bows.
I'm pretty sure I used some of these too, because they're cool.
Yeah. Some of them are nice. The Jumbo. I always like the Heart-Seeking.
Yeah, I was going to say Heart-Seeking was one of my favorite too.
Yeah, Ice Fang is also a nice one too.
And some are like super powerful, and some are like just pretty good. Like, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like bow distance is nice because it's just allows you to shoot far away. and it's not overpowering in that sense.
Bow speed is cool because it just teleports the arrows, which is kind of cool.
Fa-ching, fa-ching, fa-ching.
Yeah, they're fun. Like sometimes I find the Bazaar can be too powerful, but a lot of these are like, okay, they're just you can actually use these. They're not just crazy.
Yeah, I think the Bazaar gets crazy when they have multiple people doing several different.
Well, so this one's all done by the readers. They've been sending a lot of stuff in, so that's the same with the last one we did. The Bistry was by readers too.
Oh yeah, this is. But I think there's one guy who's done most of these. I'm looking at the names here.
It's a lot of same name.
Yeah. So
cool. And anything to say about any of the bows?
No, just the ones that are nice, you know. But it's just I think in the DM's guide, just the amount of bows you get are just plus bows, and I think there's an accuracy bow.
Boring, yeah.
They're just boring bows, so these give you a little bit more variety. So
yeah, I like the little bonuses instead of just being plus bow. Any of those, I love anytime there's swords, there's weapons of any type as the Bazaar. I always enjoy those. Okay.
If you're looking through the treasure and your character you hand them a photocopy of one of these, you're already like, well, but it's like that
even if it's not as powerful as like a +2 bow, it's still cooler.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to page 5. We'll go back to the editor's note. Tucker's Kobolds. This is a fun little story by Roger E. Moore again about how you can use even first level characters. It can be tough at high levels if you use them correctly. And he has a great story about these kobolds that his GM used to use. He says just make them smart and mean. But these kobolds they're on the first level of dungeon, and they hated the first level dungeon. They'd rather get to like the 10th level dungeon with the fiery demons and stuff, because the first level just massacred them every time. Because these evil little kobolds they had little hidey holes everywhere, and they just sneak attack them and just destroy them every single time. They just die a lot. They purposely jumped down a hole to get away from these guys and fell to like the bottom of the whole dungeon to get away from these kobolds. So it was a neat little story about how if you use monsters correctly, it doesn't matter what level characters you're playing, because they'll still F you up. So like they use Molotov cocktails in a confined area. And they're yelling at the wizard, just do something. Shoot a fireball. He's like, do you understand what would happen if I shot a fireball in this place? Yeah, it was pretty funny.
The psychological advantage that DM had every time kobolds showed up.
Yeah.
From that point on was a part of the game itself.
Yeah. They just hated the low level adventures because these damn kobolds. It was a fun little story. I think Roger Moore is not using this as a letter to the editor anymore, or like editor's notes. He's just telling little stories now, which I like.
I prefer it.
Yeah. Anybody else got any articles?
Yeah, I got 2 more.
Yeah, I knew Jack didn't have any more. But Pat, what's your next one?
Let's go to page 50.
We're going to revel in this one. Hey, this is one of mine.
The Menagerie of the Martial Arts.
The martial arts. We have to go to the next page.
Arts.
Yeah, this one is cool because it's all different types of martial arts.
Yeah, around this time, there's a lot of kung karate and kung fu movies and kung fu books in the bookstore. How to be a ninja, how to be Jeet Kune Do book is out, and magazines were very popular at that time. Wow. So
also Oriental Adventures had come out, and there was a way to make your own style in that game, but
yeah,
this makes it like using real ones and putting the rules from Oriental Adventures onto real styles, which is fun.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people who took kung fu learned mostly animal styles and I attribute that to some of the Jackie Chan movies, because he always did some kind of
Drunken Master
style. Drunken Master, or he would do Crane. He would also do Mantis. Yeah. So and I did have a friend who did kung fu, and his specialty was bear, because he was a big burly kind of guy.
Yeah.
And the bear style is just lots of grappling and hard elbows. Really,
as we know from Kung Fu Panda, which I wish we were sponsored, but Kung Fu Panda 4 is out now.
Yeah, but that's Panda style.
We'll take sponsorships.
That's
is that a joke?
No, Kung Fu Panda 4 is out now.
It's coming out. Yeah.
Isn't that like a 20-year-old property?
Not only is 20 years old, but Jack Black is back. But
Really?
that's with all these styles. Like that's all the Kung Fu Panda styles. Like all this, every animal does their own style.
There's a tiger, there's
yeah.
the crane, there's a snake.
I'm not questioning any of that. I
the
just didn't
panda,
know there was a
but the
Kung Fu
panda is not a
for
bear though.
panda.
He does the panda style.
Yeah, it's similar though. It's pretty much him just sitting on people. But if you've not seen the YouTube video, look up Jack Black, and Kyle Gass do a new video with "Come On Baby, Hit Me One More Time." They do it at the premiere. They filmed a video of them singing it with all the stars from the movie and like all the.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah.
So.
But
to finish this article off, this article basically translates all these styles to be used in AD&D.
Yeah, and the Oriental Adventures specifically with the special maneuvers that are built into the game. So, yeah, very useful. I'm sure when I played Oriental Adventures, we used a lot of these because once again, I had the book. So, yeah, fun times.
All right. That's it for that article. Do you have another one?
I have one more, I believe. Well, I have one really quick one. I hit up. It's on page 72. It's there's a review of Sea of Death by Gary Gygax, which is one of the Gord the Rogue novels.
Yep,
and
I have that book.
Me too. I had it, and it's New Infinities, which is Gary Gygax's new company, which we'll talk about later. But I just wanted to mention it. And my real last article is on page 76. And not 70.
Roll of computers.
I hit page 6. I was like, this isn't it. What the hell's going on here? This one's interesting because it's talking about SSI and AD&D getting to bed together. And I was like, wow, this is the beginning of the gold box.
That's Polar Radiance, yep. Polar Radiance will be the first one. Because then AOL gets contracted with SSI and you're able to play multiplayer Polar Radiance through AOL.
Well, as I learned, the SSI eventually makes 30 games with AD&D license. I didn't know there's 30 of them, but that's crazy.
It's a lot. There's the 3 Eye of the Beholders. There's Polar Radiance, the Curse of Azure Bonds. It's a lot of Forgotten Realms stuff.
But they're talking with the designers, and this is like really early on, and they just got the license, and they start talking about something they never did. Is that it sounds like a GM tool almost, like using the computer to play D&D. And I was like, this doesn't sound like anything like what SSI eventually does. I don't know if that ever came out. I don't think so. I don't think they ever put out a thing like that. But they do eventually get to the good stuff, and they start talking about 3D environments and state-of-the-art cutscenes, and this is everything that we later get used to with the SSI properties. At the time, we're cutting edge. You have top-down fights, but you also have exploring with that other screen with the dungeons and stuff.
Yeah.
Classic games. Now, you've been like, my God, this is so primitive, but...
I would say it's so primitive, but I would also have so much nostalgia that I would enjoy it.
Played the hell out of these games, but fun stuff. And they're talking about Forgotten Realms like it's... because it's brand new. They're like, oh yeah, this is going to be like the first time a Forgotten Realms map will be shown. It'll be in one of these games and all this stuff.
This is around the time when Forgotten Realms starts to take over from Greyhawk and Dragonlance.
Second edition, that's where it is.
Yeah.
So it's a really good article just because it's just like, wow, this is a totally different world. And it's just funny seeing the beginning of what these become such huge properties. Probably bigger than role-playing. This is the beginning of like video games taking over as the main attraction for children at this point. So fun times. Oh, and they also at the very end they talk about Activision, and Activision just got the license for a little game called BattleTech, which
I was going to say Pitfall.
Eventually, Activision puts out all the MechWarrior series, which is how I got into BattleTech. I played MechWarrior before I played any BattleTech game. So MechWarrior 2, I believe, maybe not. Maybe it could have been 1, but. Yeah, so it's two hits in one in this article. It's history, people. History. Any more articles, Patrick?
Yes, let's go to page 58.
58. Oh, ecology. We never even got to ecology.
The ecology of the Yeti.
Yeti.
It's a nice little story about a guy who is trying to figure out how to protect his village from the Yeti.
Once again, amazing art.
Yeah, and so the sage is telling him about the Yeti and how to protect what they could be doing. Because you have to understand the Yeti to know how to defend the Yeti, he says.
Are they actually alien robots?
No, that's a $6 million man, and that's
no.
Sasquatch. We're talking
No,
Yeti
that
now.
was Doctor Who. Way before $6 Million Man. Doctor Who in the 70s, probably 60s,
I'm
probably 60s.
only going with $6 million man because that's the only robotic.
The abominable snowman was in Doctor Who, and he was a robot.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, remember when Tom Baker, in his last episode before his regeneration, was followed by a ghost of a Time Lord?
Yeah, very odd.
That the companion sees and the doctor knows is there but doesn't reference, and she gets scared, and then at the end she figures out that was a time.
He joins with Tom Baker to make Peter Davison. It's just odd.
Yes, which had never been done before.
No, never referenced since. Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up, Pat.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Yeti apparently are cold-blooded animals in this version, and they need colder climates.
That doesn't work.
And they're needing colder. Well, here's how it works, though, is that they need colder climates, and they can even lower the temperature with their bodies because they don't necessarily
have blood,
absorb heat. They don't absorb heat. They radiate cold.
Yeah. Okay. Naturally that does not work, but I can see it as a supernatural being. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why they say you should build big fires because they kind of shun the warmth.
That's kind of like Monarch, that big monster that shoots ice.
Yeah. The one that was in the
Arctic.
Looks like
Alaska.
Looks like a caterpillar or something.
No.
Yeah. Well, it was actually a chrysalis he flew in, and then
a giant moth came out.
And then a giant moth. Well, he had giant eyebrows, if that's what you mean, and
they're as strong as a hill giant, and basically they're aggressive towards strangers.
The monarch.
But they're nice to their own kind.
I knew where this was going.
Yeah, I knew where he was going, so I was just waiting. But other than that, it's a very nice story. It just fills out the things of the Yeti. I do like the radiating cold makes things colder, so they don't like to be around heat.
That's neat
because it fights out their cold.
But he is called the Yeti.
Remember in the Venture Brothers when the Monarch, number one, kept seeing that ghost that was following the Monarch around, and the Monarch saw it but didn't make any reference. And then at the end of the episode, the Monarch and the ghost went together and created Peter Davison.
Yes, it was a real trippy episode.
Yeah, I don't remember that episode.
Jack was on some mushrooms at the time.
I know, but what he doesn't realize is it was Brock that could see the ghost.
Brock Sampson.
I'm glad you brought it up, Pat.
Pat, let's get back on subject here. Do you have any more articles?
Nope, I'm done.
I think I'm done too. We'll go to ads.
Yeah, let's go to page 58.
What? Why is your ad?
I know.
58. We're here.
That was his article.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ads.
Thanks for mentioning the Monarch.
I'm so confused. Jack, I know you only have one. Let's not steal it. What is yours?
23, please.
I wouldn't have stole it anyways.
Me neither.
What did we talk about? Hearn?
It's surprising because both of you have been quite invested in the Harn saga, and I thought perhaps that both of you, this is the World of Harn. Players and game masters love it. Look at all those books. None of us had them, but we've all grown.
I just sent Rob a pic the other day when I was in Games Plus. They have one.
I'm bringing up because you said the price was a little on the.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what it was. It was $100.
So it's over 99. So, but Harn, as I found out later, is started out as just a world, like a world that you could use with AD&D, but eventually became its own thing. But I guess it's super crunchy, like tons of charts, tons of it was during that time where they were like, D&D is too simple. Let's make it super crunch. And I guess it's
let's make it more realistic.
Crazy. Yeah, I guess it's one of those crazy ones. Not as great. There's one that I think it was one of the leading edge games that they said that there was, mattering what weapon you used and what way you swung it, there was different hit locations, and there was hit locations where you could, like down to the fingers, you could hit people's fingers and stuff. It was crazy. That was the way it was in the mid '80s. For some reason, crunch became a major thing, and we've kind of simplified back the other way now. I think we've probably gone too far the other way, but we'll come on. We'll get more into that when the actual games that take away the crunch come. So, but Harn,
yeah, there was multiple modules, multiple settings, and the DM book. It was, having not seen any of them in the wild, I was not aware that there was that much material and what.
Yeah, there's more than the more I started to dig into it.
Oh, there's quite a few.
The more the more it became apparent that this thing was much bigger than I thought it was.
Well, Jack, you want to learn a little bit about Columbia Games? Why it's called Columbia Games?
Oh, why is it Columbia Games?
Right now it says they're based in Blaine, Washington State, that is. But they moved from a certain British Columbia. They're Canadian who made this game. They're Canadians.
Oh.
Yep. Oh. There you go. Little Canadian content. CanCon for our to make sure we're able to be shown in Canada. We have to have some Canadian content.
Now the CBC can carry our podcast.
Yep.
Nice.
So, Pat, what's your first ad?
Let's go to page 31.
That was one of mine. Once again, this is one of those. I had this. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I had this magazine. But I stared at this picture a lot.
Chaos Wars. Ralph Partha's miniature war game rules. I've never played it.
I never even knew they had one, but
neither did I.
I definitely had that blue dragon.
Chaos Wars. It's pricey. $12 for a set of rules.
At this point.
But they do make a funny joke according to the rules, according to Ral. So,
Ral. Where's Ral troops for Christmas?
Is Ral Partha a person?
I made the guy at Games Plus laugh when I said Mr. Partha is rolling in his grave, and he went, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm crazy like that."
I'm crazy like that. All right, that's it for my. I just pointed it out. There's not much to say about this other than that it's a miniature battle game that I never played.
Yep. Let's go to my ad then. Page 89. I said I'd get back to Gygax and New Infinities Productions. This is Cyborg Commando.
I left this one because I knew you would grab this.
Yeah, there's a lot of history behind this little game.
This is the one that torpedoes them, right?
Yes, this is Cyborg Commando is the beginning of the end for poor New Infinities Productions. They was promised a bunch of funding, and it fell through. So then they were like, well, we'll have this game. This game will save us. And it turned out to be like one of the biggest flops ever, this game. Nobody played it. Nobody cared that it was Gygax. Yeah. And
it's too bad, though.
The only reason New Infinity lasted a few more years is because Gord the Road Books kept it going. But yeah, they wasted a lot of money on this weird game that's got cyborg commandos in it, I guess. It looks like some video game from the 80s for sure.
It looks like the box art that when you plugged it in and you started and you saw the actual graphics.
It's like little pixels running around, yeah.
Yeah, oh man, they got me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange, but people didn't care that Gary Gygax, Frank Metzer, and Kim Mohan were making a game, I guess. But interesting. I never knew that about this whole thing, but it's Cyborg Commando. Once again, I probably didn't know who Gygax was at the time, so I wonder if that's true too. Unless you're reading Dragon like regularly, I wonder if the average D&D player actually knew who Gygax was. You know?
I would say at this point, yes.
His name was prominent on the manual.
I think it doesn't happen till maybe the selling.
Well, it's already been
switches.
Oh, you mean from Wizard of the Coast?
Yeah.
Then he kind of, at that point though, he become almost a messiah figure, I think.
Yeah, I mean when it goes to 3.5 and people start jumping to Paizo.
Yeah.
To play Pathfinder.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, so that's this magazine. My first, all nostalgia, this one. If you have any nostalgia for any magazine, comment below. But anything else to say about issue 127 of Dragon magazine?
Yeah, I have 2 more ads.
You said you didn't have any more ads.
No, I said I had no more articles.
You have more ads?
Yeah, page 46.
You said you didn't have any more ads. I asked you.
This is the one I thought Jack would have done.
Making murder this guy.
Rob,
I
your mask is falling down. Your true self was just there for a second. The angry Rob that we know and love, the audience almost saw.
As the hobby is getting more popular and figures are coming out the wazoo every which way, we are now seeing figure cases and paint cases.
Yeah, long.
As opposed to that big giant.
Yeah, I was just going to say, long gone are the wooden chest full of miniatures. So, I'm sure we had similar cases when we were kids, for sure.
Yeah, and then for my last ad, we'll go straight to the next page.
Before you leave, Jack has something to say about this ad. Let the good boy talk.
Sorry, I thought we were trying to wrap it up.
I was just going to say a lot of people had that egg carton foam from God knows where it came from. Remember, it looked like noise canceling foam. Most people I knew
I have
had
some
chunks of that
laying around here somewhere, but I'm not going to go reach for it.
I don't know where it ever came from. Roswell probably out of a crashed spacecraft, because everyone had it, and that was the most for my frame of reference way that people would carry their minis around.
A shoebox full of that foam.
Yeah.
Yep. Now you can buy a case.
The wooden crate that mandarins come in, cram that foam in there.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's my party.
I still use that wooden crate that mandarins come in to transport my miniatures to paint, to outside to like spray and stuff. What's your last ad then, Mister? I have no more ads, and somehow
let's go to page 47, and we're gonna look at the dice wheel. It ain't no dragon bone, that's for sure, but it'll cover your D30.
I remember that thing.
The thing is, I don't remember this too much, but I just thought it was funny.
It's just a flick. You flick the sword.
Easy, yeah, you just flick it and then you find out which one you want. But
which I'm sure is not accurate at all, because there must be some dragon, unless it's a frictionless wheel there somehow. There's going to be a dragon.
But you get all kinds of dice with the dice wheel. You get a D3, you get a D4, you get D6, 8, 12, 20, 30. Oh, so you can do your fighter maneuvers. And 100%ers.
Doesn't need batteries. They're really going after the dragons.
Yeah, the dragon bone. They're trying to get the dragon bone money.
How much is it? $15. Jesus.
Yeah.
Or you can get the
50 spinner
deluxe wooden and brass for $50.
Oh, Jesus.
But that
you can buy 2 dragon bone for that. I'd rather have the sock full of dice next to it. That's awesome.
You can use it to whip someone in the head.
It's a Christmas stocking. If you got that Christmas stocking full of dice, I'd be like,
you're walking out of the hobby store, someone tries to mug you, right across the face.
Makes a great
Someone
gift.
says they have no more ads, and then they bring out 2. Wah-pa-cha! Right in the groin.
Smack them down.
I didn't say I didn't have any more ads.
I asked him.
Let it go.
Are we done now?
Go through you.
Are we done?
Yes. Yes, my master.
Okay. Well, you ruined my magazine. Thanks.
I didn't ruin your magazine. We enhanced it because now everyone knows there's such thing as a dice wheel.
A dice wheel. It was a good one. This is a classic. Thank you for putting up with me. We'll get into much more of the ones I've collected at this point, and out of the ones Pat's collected. Our Venn diagram does not touch.
Yes. And if you have a dice wheel, let us know how that thing was.
I'm sure it doesn't work very well, unless it's frictionless somehow.
let us know how you hated it.
Like the end. The end would be hitting those little nods.
Because it's not balanced. It's not the symmetrical part. So there's going to be weight issues. Then the leveling of the table.
Yeah, it'd have to be perfect. Yeah.
There is problems. There's a reason why.
It'd make more sense if it was a spinner like they do for like raffles. That would make more sense.
Let us know if you if it spun decently, or did it spin like
every time it lands on 20?
A sorry spinner.
Yeah,
you got out of the game. Right. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it is, and they never worked right.
No.
Or like Twister.
The problematic.
Yeah,
that bad boy worked.
Then the life spinner was also a very good.
Oh, that was one that you just that was built into the board.
If you spun it too hard though, that thing came flying off.
It's just the top.
A meteor,
like a UFO.
A fucking meteor screaming across your living room.
Yeah, Pop-O-Matic. I think all dice should be Pop-O-Matic. Actually, is that? I don't know where I saw that. It was just like it looks like what you put your like miniatures in, but you could see through the top, and they had all different dice in there. You could just shake it up and turn it upside down, then put it, and then it would show all the different. So unless for like Warhammer, you're throwing a million dice, they had like this little case that had all the dice in there, so you never threw the dice. It was kind of like it was almost like a trouble, but you just had to shake it yourself. Funny. Anyways,
not ha funny, but funny.
The world is a funny place, Jack.
And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
This has been an episode, and we're going to move on to next week, another episode. Until then, I've been Rob.
I'm Jack.
I'm Chopper.
Like, share, subscribe, comment below, and tell us what fools we are, because Jack doesn't read the comments anyways.
And I want to know all about that dragon wheel.
I let that motorcycle. Yeah, a little comment
was that the dragon wheel? Is that what that sounded like when he spun the dragon wheel?
They heard that in the booth too.
What you gonna get? It's nice weather out. There's motorcycles everywhere. Okay.
Dragon wheel spins fast.
We're leaving now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.